What's up, folks? Hope you're doing well. So, various static levels in Final Fantasy XIV. What are they? Well, I'm going to use my experience. I've raided at pretty much every level outside of hardcore / world progression. I've raided up to semi-hardcore, and now I raid casually, and I've raided mid-core as well. So, I'm going to give my opinion on the various static levels in this game. So, if you're looking to join a static, or you've come into this game from somewhere else, you're looking for the split of what type of statics there are. So I'm going to give you a description of each one, any disadvantages or advantages, and then we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, would be interesting to hear your thoughts as well after the video is done at the bottom. So let's start off with casual. So I formed a casual static last tier, mid last tier, purely based on close friends, and then we recruited 1 or 2 spots, which have then come to enjoy the group atmosphere and have become part of the friend circle, whether they're still in the static or not. So when you raid casual, you'll usually, like we take my static for example, if our static disbanded, there would be people that wouldn't really care about raiding again in random groups. So we have players of all different skill levels, different attitudes to raiding, but the one thing we all have in common and enjoy is the fact that we can have fun, we can have a laugh, we can derp around, and we're not that fussed, because when you're casual, you're not looking for an early kill. So we have raided 4 hours a week for the most part. Sometimes we do 5.5 hours a week when we're close to killing a boss, and we're going to probably kill Shiva in the next 2 weeks. So if you're joining casual, you're not fussed about the kill time, you're accepting of most skill levels, and you don't really care that much about logs as a group. Again, that depends on the player in that group and what they can achieve through our DPS versus ADPS and whatnot. But you're looking to have a good time. Your raid time is somewhere between 4 or 5 hours a week, which is nothing in comparison to some of the other levels I'll talk about. So, disadvantages of raiding casual. So, the disadvantages are, if you don't have the mentality for it, if you want fast progress, it's not going to be a group for you. Stuff can be slow, expect a slow kill. You have to be very patient with raid members. Some members, again, they have different levels of skill, and that can bring various things to clears or not. At the end of the day, casual, no one really should care about it in terms of like speed and efficiency. You're just looking to get the kill and have fun. So that is casual in this game. They're usually a lot more fun to be in than some of the other levels, just purely based on the relaxed atmosphere, and that's about it for casual. So mid-core is kind of like this big gaping hole between casual and semi-hardcore. So there are lots of little subset groups within this, but honestly, it's a lot easier to just refer to this as mid-core. So there are levels where casual meets mid-core and semi-hardcore meets mid-core, and then the middle point of that. So with mid-core, you can have anything ranging from wanting to chill and go at your own pace to wanting to get a week 2 clear. Mid-core is usually 3 hours a session in most times, and multiple times a week, whereas with casual, you're maybe once or twice a week. People generally do look at logs a bit more and a bit of the meta. So if you don't have any raid buffs in casual, or you have 2 warriors, no one really cares. But if you do that in mid-core and up, people are going to be a bit like, we're not building LB that much. Can we go this class? Can you switch this up and that up? So there's a little bit more consideration for your class setup in mid-core, especially through the varying levels. So yeah, you're looking for decent progress on this. So you're looking for a kill within the first few weeks as opposed to the first few months. This can range from week 1, 2, or 3. It really depends on the type of group and the mentality. And a lot of trialing and error goes on here. So a lot of people will be replaced or trialed based on how they mesh with the group and how their DPS is in the grand scheme of things. So it's a little bit more, not that much more serious, but a little bit more serious in that regard. It's still fairly relaxed as an environment, I'd say. So that shares a lot of the same strengths and weaknesses as casual, just kind of inhibited a bit more. Now the next level, this is where stuff starts to change up. So semi-hardcore, This is where you are considering logs, you're considering the class setup, you're considering the player skill. You don't really care that much about compatibility between players. There are many semi-hardcore groups in this game where they form together for the kill and for the logs, but they don't particularly either care about getting on with each other, or they don't really talk anyway outside of raid, and that's been for many groups. Now, yes, there are semi-hardcore groups, and there's groups in every category here where people get on amazingly and they are successful, but there's also a lot more room for the other side that you don't get at the other levels. So the turnover is quite high for semi-hardcore and up. There's many people that are always searching for a new static every tier. So the turnover rate is quite big due to burnout, due to going at the content so hard that you get bored afterwards. That is definitely one of the things to be worried about or to consider when you raid semi-hardcore up. Semi-hardcore is always looking to kill the fight in the first 2 weeks, mostly week 1. They're looking to kill ultimates within the first month, and they're looking to be on top of progress while still maintaining somewhat of a life to game balance. But they are definitely pushing a lot of hours in there. Personally, I burnt out quite a lot at semi-hardcore. They usually raid 3 to 4 hours multiple times in the week, and then they will dump a bunch of hours on a weekend day. So when I was raiding semi-hardcore, we dumped about 8 hours on a Sunday in Midas, and that does burn you out. And there's many people I know that have been burnt out and either quit the game or just play at a casual level. I think ultimates are the exception. If you dump all your hours into ultimate, you're going for that one big goal of killing it and getting your shiny weapon. Whereas with a savage tier, you kill it in the first week, and then all you're looking forward to is just speed killing, and then you've got the next 7 months of doing the same thing. Whereas with an ultimate, you can return to that at any point or kill it and then be done with it. So certainly with savage, it's a lot more rougher. But yeah, advantages: you get good logs all the time, you get on top of stuff, you speed kill, you train yourself up as a whole. Yeah, disadvantages: you burn out. You just burn out, and you may not get on with some of the players, which equals a high turnover or even drama in a lot of cases. And there's a whole lot of that you can find on the community in the past. So the next level, the one I haven't raided at, but I know people that have done it, and I've been in FCs where we're Group B to their Group A. So hardcore / world racing, they raid 12 to 20 hours a day for the first week, 2 weeks. They do speed kills. They go in with the purest form of blind progression, which semi-hardcore does a little bit, but at hardcore / world prog, you're getting the blindest of blind progressions, which people really like. To be a hardcore / world progression player, you have to have a lifestyle where your job allows you to take off that holiday at a specific time, which may be hard for some people. I can't take holidays when I want. There's only certain points of the year where I can do it. So you either have to have no job or a job that is flexible in that matter. And the burnout is incredibly high on hardcore. I know lots of legendary players that have quit or have retired from hardcore / world progression. And they get a lot of the disadvantages of semi-hardcore, but just multiplied by a factor of like 10. So the things you get the prestige of killing stuff extremely early, especially if you get a world top 10. You get insane logs, and you can go between the hardcore groups in the community. People know that you're a solid player, but yes, you do have to trade off basically anywhere from 10 to 20 hours a day for the first week, maybe week and a half. And a lot of people don't think that's worth it in the grand scheme of things, and they can't do it because of their job or because of just health reasons. So it's not to say that the people in world progression are the best players. There can be a mixture between semi-hardcore and world progression, just depending on situation. But they're the forefront people that have a high skill level. That is fact. So they have a high skill level, they're at the forefront, and they can do enough to get that fight out of the way. But yes, they do suffer the biggest downfall of burning out. So that is kind of like a quick vertical split of the raid static groups in Final Fantasy XIV. So if you're looking for one, or you're coming from a different game and you want to match your expectations, maybe you want to go hard, maybe you want to chill out more, those are the general group types that exist in this game, in my opinion. So let me know what you guys think below, what you think of the various raid groups. Are there any that you think are included that weren't? So softcore, maybe softcore is a thing, or maybe you class it as casual. But yeah, let me know in the comments below.